Hey, hi.
Hello, how are you?
Fine, you? Welcome.
Very good, very good.
Finally, we meet face to face.
Finally, congratulations.
Thank you so much.
What a honor that you gave us.
Thank you.
And it was very nice, that day team was here.
Yeah.
And we started to celebrate
having
together
a
with
photo
team.
all together. It was a very good photo.
Wow, it was a very good moment.
Thank you.
So nice.
Thank you so much. As everybody knows, I'm using Caballero-Finca International Brewers Cup since 2017. I got different places in those years, and now I got the first place this year with Honduras Caballero-Finca. Now we talk about the coffee producing, and my followers asked me some questions to ask to you. And before we go to questions, we would like to hear the story of you and your coffee farm, and also your geisha coffee.
Okay, I want to introduce to you.
Yeah.
My name is Marisabel Caballero, and together with Moises, we run Finca El Puente. Finca El Puente is located in the southwest of Honduras, in the state of La Paz. And we work with a lot of love because it's what we love.
Yeah, definitely. Now I'm going to ask you followers question, line to line. How many varieties do you grow in your farm?
How many varieties? We grow around 67 different varieties. Some varieties are only to have and to know and to see how the varieties goes in our weather. Some of them we have 1 or 2 trees, and another one we reproduce depend on how we are copying the varieties, and if it's good and the varieties like the environment, we replant. If not, we only have some trees just to have the variety. But in total, we have around 67, and in production, and that we export around 12.
You grow 6 or 7 different varieties, or 67?
67. 57. 67. 57.
57. Okay.
Yes. Every year because we crop the different varieties that we have, and some years we reproduce, and then the next year we recop again the different varieties, maybe to give a chance to another varieties, maybe the last year for the weather or something that we didn't pick right. So we give the other varieties the chance to see how are they. Sometimes we discover some varieties that we didn't choose the last year. So we take some seeds and we replant. This is I always tell Moises that is his hobby, because he loves to do. I tell him that he has his secret garden of varieties, that he goes, he looks the different trees, he likes to see how it grows, how the weather affects to them. It's very, very interesting how he likes to do. He's very diligent in that one.
It's very good. Do you grow cocoa beans in your farm?
No, because that trees grows until, I am not sure because I don't know too much, but I think around 900 and 1,000 meters. And our farm starts in 1550 meters. The lowest altitude that we have is 1550. So no, we don't. We hope. We like, but we cannot.
Okay. Do you sell blended varieties in your specialty coffee sales, or do you sell only single varieties? This question is because sometimes some specialty coffees came with 4 different varieties in one package.
You know, our main variety that we grow is Catuai. Around 80-85% of our production. And we have some other varieties that we sell as a single origin, like Pacamara, because, for example, Pacamara you cannot mix with Catuai or Bourbon because it's different process. Even for you to roast is very different. Yeah. So that varieties we sell as a single origin, but some like a Bourbon, Típica, Catuai, sometimes when it's picking we mix, but no all the time. But only that one, Catuai, Típica, and Bourbon. But the other varieties we process as a single.
Okay. Have you employed people who work in the coffee industry and curious about the coffee farming from somewhere around the world? If you do, how is the procedure?
No, we don't. We still not. Even, you know, from around Honduras, we only have people from around the community. Because some other producer, they transport people from one community to another community, but even us, we only use the people from around the farms. So our farm are in 3 different communities, and the people that works from that communities, but could be from another part of.
Okay.
Out of the communities.
Do you have any collaboration with the organization like Workaway? If you don't heard this program before, Workaway program is about to find and match the travelers all around the world who wants to learn and help everything in globe craftsmanship, farming, teaching, etc.
No, we haven't heard about that organization. Yeah. But it's interesting.
I learned now.
Yes. Thank you. Moises and I always we say, nobody knows everything. You have to learn from all the people around you. We can do in the near future with some to have the infrastructure and to have a place to have them. We can have in the future. We would love to.
Okay. How does processing methods like natural, honey, and washed affect the flavors?
Yes, are different flavors, and affects. For example, when you work the coffee in the natural way, you have, I think, you add more sweetness, and you are another flavor that the cascara has in the coffee. We personally, most of our coffee, we work in wash coffee.
Yeah, I know that.
And one thing that we always see is that mostly a lot of people like wash. Now it's very trendy, the natural way. But in a wash coffee, you can feel the real flavor of the coffee. Yeah. It's like a person when it's like, for example, the woman, if we make up, you cannot see how. and I think it's that the coffee of the cascara. So in a wash coffee, you have to look at me without makeup.
Also, I
so
like
it's a kind of, but I think it depends because everyone has different tastes. Everyone has different way to see, to try, to roast. And difficult because every year we say, please, let's work natural. And he say, no. I like wash is okay. Then finally, 3 years ago, he started working natural way, but it's not his favorite. He loves wash, but he told me one day, if I make natural, I will do very good natural, very clean and transparent natural.
Because
so I don't want to show.
It's very hard to manage, actually.
Yes, the natural, you have to be very careful to dry, especially to dry. I think dry in every step of the coffee is the most delicate step. So in natural, you have to be super carefully to
also
dry
hard
that.
to roast naturals, actually.
Yes, I heard that. Yes, it's more. So in wash is how is the coffee? Like how is the coffee? And natural is like you put some flavor of the cascara in the natural because you dry the whole bean. In the honey process, you take out, but you left a little bit of honey. So you dry with a little. I think honey is like the middle in between these two coffee. I don't know if I answered your question.
Yeah, it's actually very good. How do you provide homogeneity in natural processing? Is this the main challenge in natural processing in contrast to washed process?
You know that when you dry natural coffee, when you have the cascara, the shell of the coffee with it, is very easy to fermentate. So when you pick the coffee, you have to be carefully to dry immediately because the sun has to be in the beans to cut the fermentation process. Then after some days, you have to move because when you already cut the fermentation process, you have to move the coffee to dry under the shade. So after under 2 shades. So he finished the coffee under 2 shades. The normal shade, another bed that is up, and he dry in this place. So you have to be checking the humidity of the coffee not every day, but every 2 days, just to know when you have to move the coffee from what place to that. I think if you do in the right way, you make a very even coffee. I don't know if he asked that one. Was his question that one?
Yeah, he's asked it. What makes you decide between full washed or natural for that season's harvest?
Yes, it's very important because at the beginning of the harvest, we have a cloudy days and we have rains. So we have to look to process natural coffee when it's sunny days. That is almost at the end of the crop. That is at the end of February, March, and April are the month for natural. If you do before, you destroy the coffee. Sometimes Moises put the coffee to dry, and at the 3rd day or 4th day, it's already cloudy. And not national market, because he didn't want to take the risk that some flavor apart comes in the coffee. So the first days of when you dry natural are very important, sunny days.
Mhm.
So that question is very important because you have to be sure.
Mhm.
Not always we are sure because we don't know how is the
because of
weather
the weather.
back. But you have to see that it's sunny days. The next days that when you start to dry coffee, natural coffee.
Mhm. How do you make your compost? Is there a certain mix for plantation for every year, or do you change it depending on the other conditions?
We mostly use the same compost, and we as a coffee producer we are very blessed because the same pulp that has a so we can use that waste to put again to the coffee. So with the pulp we mix a cow manure, we mix a limestone. The limestone is very important because you help the pulp to decompose faster, and you add calcium to the farms. So it's good for those reasons. And we buy chicken manure to put chicken manure.
Chicken manure. Okay.
We can buy. It's not cheap, but we can buy to put in the farms, the chicken manure. So we put cow manure, pulp, limestone, and chicken manure.
Okay.
And I don't know how do you say that the wood. You buy the wood waste from the people that work in wood. So you mix that one because that helps to decompose too.
Okay. Other question is, how is your harvest affected by climate change?
I think it's one of the biggest challenge of all producers. Is affecting a lot. But I think you have to live with that one. And in the next years will be worse and worse. So you have to walk one step ahead to it. Nowadays we are using more shade at the farms, and we have a program with Moises to plant in the future, in the near future. We hope in 10 years around 5,000 new shade trees. So we are doing year by year because we feel and we think that maybe in 5-6 years, if you don't have shade in your farms, will be very difficult for the coffee trees to produce coffee, especially to produce good coffee, because the trees will be suffering too.
Tim mentioned about that before, about shading trees. It's very important to coffee farms usually.
Yes, very important. Now I think that coffee producer, now we are more sure than before that we need. Yes, we have very strong sun during the summer, and during the rainy season we have very low temperature that we didn't have too much before. We remember the last lower temperature that we have was like in 2009, I think. But now it's more often to have very low temperature, and that low temperature burn your beans. So it's a lot of challenge that you have. Sometimes you have a lot of rain, some other year you have few rains. So that is Moises, he likes to, we can say, play with the varieties to see what varieties are more affected with a lot of rain, with less rain. When he likes to see how it goes, how the varieties goes, different varieties.
Okay. New question.
the different methods of drying in the coffee taste.
Yeah.
Yes, there are, you know, Moises always tells that the drying process is the most delicate process in the coffee. And you know why? Because the coffee, they have to be alive. And to be, for you as a human being, you have to be alive with your heart, because it's beating your heart. So in the coffee bean has an embryo inside.
Yeah.
So when you dry the coffee, you have to dry so gentle that you don't have to kill the embryo inside. So the beans, they feel that they are alive and they want to live and survive to keep their generation. That makes the beans not to taste old. And one of our challenge with Moises is to produce coffee that tastes fresh. And the only way that you can do it is drying very good your coffee. Drying in a good way to maintain that embryo alive. So, for example, if you dry the coffee very fast, for sure, your embryo you will kill your embryo. So the taste will be good. But in September, when you cup the coffee, you will feel it's not the same coffee, because the coffee is already dying. And when you
also really hard
December,
to manage to roast fastly drying coffees, because the moisture and density is very low, and really hard to manage that about the roasting phase.
Well, but you have to dry until the right humidity. Now we are drying in 11% or around 11% our humidity. So you have to reach 11% of humidity in a very gentle way. So you as a roaster, you can have your coffee until December, January of the next year, and tasting still fresh. So all depend on how you dry your coffee. So you can dry in African beds, but you can dry fast even in African beds, because you can put on at the sun and with a strong sun, and you will kill.
Yeah, also
But
you use
if you cover
for the coffee at the drying phase.
Yes, we start to dry on the sun, and then we move the coffee to finish drying under the shade. Yeah. If we dry in guardiolas, because we use mechanical dryers, we use very low temperature. We use the temperature inside the drum around 24 Celsius. That is the temperature inside the drum where the coffee is. It means it's drying very carefully. So how you dry the coffee is, as a coffee producer, is one of your last steps that depend how your coffee tastes. And the last step is how you keep the coffee, how you storage the coffee. But how you dry the coffee is one of the most delicate process in all. So every coffee producer has to be very careful in that step.
The next question. So how do you think the coronavirus outbreak will affect coffee production and export in Honduras? This is the tough one.
So I think nobody was prepared with that one. And,
unfortunately.
And I want to send a hug to the whole world that we are having this problem. But you know, in Honduras, most of the production, we produce the coffee in November, December, January, February. In the high altitude, we crop in December, January, February, March, April. But this year, God was very special with us. You know, he let the crop was very early. This year, I don't know why, we have the earliest crop that we never had. We were surprised in that moment. We were working a lot because the drying process was at once. But when this problem came, we say, wow, was a very tough days during the processing because it was very early crop, and God sent us very early because these other things comes. Yeah. So we all, some producers are still, but are few producers, but most of the producers already finished crop coffee. We I think next week we will finish. And for exporting is, we keep exporting, but more slow because some office are closed, so you need some permission, some papers, but it's working. Not running as before, but the country try to maintain working slowly, but working. So I think, I don't know who can tell that it's not affected by this one, because it touch, I think, everyone in this world. So, but we have to keep positive that this will pass soon. Yes, this is.
I hope so. We know from the geography books that the lower lands of Honduras can be seen in the subtropical climate, also the higher lands and the mountains in temperate climate. But how does this affect the taste profiles of chemistry of this coffee?
A lot. Affect a lot, you know. As a Honduran, we are very blessed to have this kind of land, because we have totally different land from one place to other. And even that we have different levels, we have different, we are affected for some area of Honduras are affected for the Pacific, and some areas of Honduras are affected for the Atlantic. So even there are some areas that are close are very different coffees. Because, for example, here in our area, we are affected for the Atlantic. Even that we are in the south of Honduras, we are affected for the Atlantic. It means when rains or snow in United States, we are affected with rains. In the other parts, we have if you drive like a 1.5 hours from here, you have a lands that are affected from the Pacific. It means are more dry. They don't have too much problem during the crop with rains. They have more. Even if we have the same altitude and the same variety of coffee, because as you know, if we the profiles depend on the varieties, the altitude, the microclimate, but we can see in these areas that one is affected for the Pacific and one is affected for the Atlantic. With the same altitude, same varieties, are totally different coffees. And it makes Honduras have too much to offer to the customers. So some customers doesn't like this profile, they can find what profile they want in another areas of Honduras. So we are a blessed country. Yes, a very, for example, the coffee institution, they already have 6 different profiles that are different. For example, in the North Coast, we have one profile, they have a tropical fruit flavors. Another in the western part of Honduras is a chocolate flavors. In this area is citric flavors. So 6 different profiles that you can taste from Honduras. So we are a super blessed country.
Yeah, definitely. how many varietals are available in the plantation? What made you to go with those varietals in the beginning?
When we start to work with some roster, they travel to another place and they brought us some seeds. So we start to plant only for how do you say curiosity? Curiosity. Yes, only other part of the world. So we start to plant, but then Moises, he loves the idea to have them and to see how these beans are very different from the same seeds in this place. When he has crop in these beans, he asks to the people, can you bring me some of that roast beans to try? And he likes to compare how, because it's incredible, the nature is amazing. So that's why we start to do it. Even some friend give us 2 beans, we plant, and then we grow, we pick, we process, and we try. For example, I remember the mocha. The mocha, some friend gave to Moises 6 beans. And the beans we planted, and he planted in front of here, the house. And I say, why do you plant that beans in front of the house as a garden? Because the mocha beans are not so beautiful trees. And then from that trees, we start to pick, and now we have a plantation of mocha. So it's more for curiosity. That word. But now it's more for investigation, for habit, different coffees. It was very nice. It was a very good idea, Moises. Can you imagine now 57 different varieties?
This is my first and only question for you about your geisha coffee. Would you tell us the story of your geisha? I know the team's video about your farm. You got the Cup of Excellence with your geisha before. When did you plant it first, and when?
2006, the one roaster that buys and still buys our coffee, he came by car from Panama because he brought the seeds, and he didn't want that someone take from at the airport. So he came by car, and when he arrived here to Marcala, he said, look what I brought. And we say, what is that? It's an amazing coffee. You have to plant. And in that moment, we start to plant with him. We start to plant the beans. And then we went to the farm and we say, okay, where do you think is good to plant? And we show him different places where to plant. And he was looking and looking, and he said, this place. And we say, this place. Oh, no. But look, let's go to look another, because in that place was the area of Bourbon, of us. So we didn't want to take the Bourbon because it was very good for Bourbon. And we say, no, let's go to another place. And we showed him another, and he said, no, that place is better. Okay. So we say, we have to take the risk. Always in life, you have to do like this one. You have to take always risk in your life to have different things. Moises always repeat the Einstein words. How do you want to have different results if you are doing the same things? So we say, okay, let's do it. And we start to prepare the land for the seeds. And we start to plant the seeds, but we made a deal with him. When we produce that coffee, we have to sell only to them. that was a moral word that we made, a commitment. And then we start to produce of that coffee, and we start to sell only to them. You can sell to another customer that you have, because we produce more, and we kept only one quantity for them, because what's the quantity for them, and then they say, okay, it's okay, you can participate in Cup of Excellence. But you know one thing, in 2015 we participated in Cup of Excellence, and we won the 38th place, the last place. So this is another thing in life. Sometimes when you are doing something, sometimes you don't have the result that you want, but you don't have to give up. Always keep going, because when you do things right, always, can be late, can be very soon, you will have good results in your life, in everything in your life. So that was the last place, but we say, but we are in the auction, we are in, no matter in what place, but we are in. And then next year in 2016, we participate with the geisha. And thanks God we won. Was a very happy time for us. And we feel very blessed to have great people working with us, that we are working with them. So we think we are with amazing roster, with amazing people that we have learned a lot from them. And thanks to them, we can be, thanks to God and thanks to them, we can be better every year. So I remember the word that I didn't remember. Do you remember? Was sawdust, the wood thing that we put in the compost. And you know why we put? No. Because one day we told Tim that we use the compost, and Tim say, if you don't put sawdust, it's not working so good as if you put. You should put. Now we put. So it was many things that we have learned from the people that we work with.
It's a very good story. I lived like that story. Last year I got the third place at the Brewers Cup, and I thrilled about that. I shocked about that, because I really work hard, and third place is unsatisfied me, but I don't give up, and now I got the first place with your share.
Yes. Wow, this is for your hard work. Yeah. And because you do the things right as they have to be, and you never give up, and you don't have to never give up until you die.
Yeah, I think I'll do my best at the World Brewers Cup if it's going good, and if we participated at the November because of the pandemic situation. It's not certain.
No, thank you.
We meet to face, and it's an honor to meet you.
Moises sends you regards and hugs.
Me too. Say hi to
Thank you so much. Thank you for this opportunity to talk with you.
You're welcome.
And thanks to meet many people, great people that I can see, and I send
you have lots of compliment about your coffee and farm. They talk lots of good things about you and your coffee.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you, and a big hugs to everyone that was in this conversation. And I hope we can meet you someday somewhere.
Yeah, I hope so. I want to my second trip origin to Honduras. First one is at the Colombia, and I hope the second one is in Honduras. I hope so.
Okay, You will be more than welcome. We will
Thank
be
you so
very happy and honored to have you here.